Hey, welcome back, folks. Take two. Well, see, the last time I did this video, something went wrong with the audio, and it was only on one channel, and, well, actually, I know what went wrong, and we've more or less remedied the problem, and, well, just to check and make sure it's actually working right, we're just going to quickly take a listen. Yep. Both channels are still there. But I look kind of silly with headphones on, so. Well, there's some guys that do their videos and they always have their headphones on and it seems to be okay. Well, anyhow, I want to talk about doing things in order, one step at a time. And before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of whining and complaining. Well, let's start off with the weather. In case you haven't noticed, well, I'm pretty sure you have, we're inside. And the reason we're inside is because it is 30 below out today. Now, I did in fact go out and brave the weather and spend a little time with a horse. But when it comes to doing a video, it requires setting up and taking down equipment, which involves a lot of barehanded work. And in this kind of weather, no, that's not happening, sorry. And, well, it's about minus 30 today. And you might be thinking, well, is that Fahrenheit or Celsius? It doesn't matter. It's cold. Actually, it's not. I believe that that would be the equivalent of about minus 20 in Fahrenheit, something like that. It's still pretty cold. Yeah, it's not a nice day out there, I'll tell you. And my toes are still thawing out, I think. I don't know. Can't feel them. I think they thawed out. Did they thaw out? I'm not sure. Anyhow, so, yeah, weather kind of sucks. So we're doing a video indoors today. I know you don't like it. You like it out there with the horses and all. I don't blame you. I'd rather be out there with the horses myself. But, you know, when it's 30 below, sorry, we're doing it in here. A nice warm cup of coffee, too. Yes, fresh, strong, real cream. Anyhow, what I want to talk about though is, well, the more whining is whine about YouTube, and unfortunately there ain't much we can do about it because, for those of you that don't know, YouTube is owned by Google, and companies the size of Google do whatever they want. So I don't think there's much we can do about the problems we're having, because I don't think they really care about little old me. And but what has been happening is, I know that my viewers have not been getting notifications. I haven't gotten notifications for some of the channels I've subscribed to. Actually, I've been getting notifications for most of them. There was one, though, I got a notification. And before I had a chance to actually watch the guy's video, the notification was gone. Completely disappeared from my channel notifications, and wasn't on my computer, my phone, nothing. It was gone. Completely gone. But I went to the guy's channel, and sure enough, the video was in fact there. So we watched it. But I don't know, something screwy there. I had one of my viewers send me a message saying that he wasn't getting notifications. Occasionally, sometimes he would, but most of the time not. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Also, last couple of videos I did last week, they only got up to like 10 or 11 views, something like that. I don't know what's going on there. I'm pretty sure people are actually watching them because my total watch time hours has gone up. So I'm assuming that somebody's watching something. I don't know, but I mean, 10 or 11 views. I think they're up to 11 now. And I find that laughable, because I used to get that many views. Actually, I used to get more than that in the first 15 minutes after uploading them. So after a week having only 11 views, you know, sorry, don't buy it. So completely ignore whatever it says for views. That I don't think there's any actual, I've mentioned this before, is I don't think that's there's any actual correlation there at all, because I've seen some of my numbers go backwards. So something really weird going on, but make sure you share links to the videos and my channel with your friends, post them on social media, whatever it takes. Get the word out, spread the word. It's for the benefit of people and the horses. And it's not so much for my benefit, because I'm going to keep making these videos anyhow. I'm going to keep doing this anyhow. So even if it says I've only got 10, well, that's okay. If there's a half a dozen people even that it's helping, we'll keep doing it, because that's all that really matters. And someday maybe it'll catch on to somebody else, and so on and so forth. And because it's just, anyhow, on to the subject I want to talk about today is, and this has got to do a lot with the horse I've been working with recently, who has been considered, well, although some people consider her broke, she's been basically unrideable, at least not safely, for her entire life. And I'm not sure when they actually started her, but she's 21 now, and you'd know that if you've been watching my videos, but maybe you haven't been getting notifications. Who knows? Anyhow, what I've been doing is I've been basically starting from the beginning and working our way through things, and I've been seeing some pretty significant changes. They're a little bit each time, but it's happening. It's there, And we achieved that by doing things in order. It's much easier, a lot less stressful for the horse. That horse is already overwhelmed, and it's like I don't know what kind of stimulants. Certainly something more than coffee that horse is on, I'll tell you. Unbelievable. Anyhow, but what I've been doing is I've been doing what I think has probably been left out, missed by some of the other trainers, because a lot of people, what they tend to do is, they get the horse gentled enough to get a saddle on it, and they get on and hope for the best. No, I don't do it that way. The way I do it is I teach the horse pretty much everything it needs to know to be ridden before I ride it, so that when I do get on the horse, it's much safer for me and a lot less stressful for the horse. It goes much quicker and smoother from that point on, because I'm not asking the horse to do anything that it does not already know. So, that's one of the reasons I do this stuff, and I don't know how many steps exactly there are, but we'll say 30. Unfortunately, a lot of people, even though it does help, they'll only do maybe 3, 4, 5 things. Next thing you know, they're putting a saddle on the horse. I don't get it, but that's what happens. And I've done videos talking about that before. The biggest mistake we make is getting in a hurry to ride the horse. And, there's a lot that can be gained from just hanging out with a horse and doing some work with it. This one I've been working with, I've been at it now just in my spare time, because I do have a full-time job, about 10 hours a day actually. And so I haven't been getting to spend a lot of time with her, but in the last couple of months, we're making progress. It's just a little bit each day, not a whole lot, but every time I make progress, I get a smile on my face. So I'm enjoying all the time that I'm spending with this horse, even though I am not riding her, and I probably will not ride her for quite a while yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a while yet, but I'm enjoying every minute I'm spending with that horse, watching the transformation. It's a lot of fun. So, don't get in a hurry to ride. I try convincing people of this, and they just don't seem to quite understand the importance of it all. There is a logical and sensible way of doing things that says, you don't get in a hurry. You do things one step at a time in order. And I'll give this scenario a little analogy, I should say. I like to do, because I'm a bit of a gearhead, and I've used this analogy before. It's like, when you're working with a horse, it's kind of like working with a supercar, or building a real nice car or whatever. You do not worry about how fast it can shift or accelerate if you got no brakes or steering, because that's going to end bad, I'll tell you. You're either going to have a wreck at the very least and destroy your car, or you're going to get yourself killed or hurt. Don't want that happening. That's why you want to do things in order. Take your time, get it good. I mean, by the time I get on the horse's back, my goal is that the horse already knows how to be ridden, even if it's never been ridden. I'm just teaching it things, or asking it things, I should say, not even teaching it because I've already done that. I'm asking it to do things that it already knows. I'm not teaching it new things. I'm just asking things that it already knows. That's far safer for me and far less overwhelming for the horse. Might it take a little longer? I'm sure it does. Absolutely. But in the end, I mean, what takes longer before you get on the horse? Well, I think it's offset by how much faster things go after you get on the horse, because you're not trying to teach a horse that is overwhelmed and stressed out and everything else. So, way safer, way easier, way quicker in the long run. Sure doesn't mean it's a couple months longer before you ride your horse. Maybe. Good chance. Well, actually, I hope it is. But in the end, a year down the road, you're going to be ahead of the other people that got on the horse too soon. And probably aren't in the hospital they might be. That's what happens. And I see it all the time too, even if people realize that, they see the value in it and they do things on the ground before they ride. Well, it just seems like, after about step 5 out of about 30, next thing you know, there's a saddle on that horse. I don't understand it. Why do people keep doing it? Because there's an awful lot that needs to be done, Well, right from the beginning, the very first thing you got to do with your horse, going to catch it, whether you're going to ride it, do groundwork with it, groom it, get it trimmed. No matter what you're doing with that horse, the first thing you got to go do is catch it. So, learn how to catch the horse, or teach the horse to be caught, or learn how to teach the horse to be caught. I don't care how you do it. There's different ways to go on about it. But that's what comes first. The very first thing you got to do. And I don't know, I've seen people that, been riding for 5 years ago. I don't need that stuff. I'm already riding my horse. I said, yeah, but you're still having trouble catching it. And I've seen horses that were hard to catch their entire lives because nobody ever taught them any different, because they skipped step 1. And figured, well, if they approach the horse just right and everything, they can still get it. Well, it might take a while. Kind of like I was trying to explain to somebody one time why I'm doing things the way I was doing things, and they came out one day and I said, "Oh yeah, I just finished putting the horse back out that I was working with," and I said, "Yeah, I just spent 45 minutes teaching it how to be caught." And they're all, "Oh, I'm sorry you had to spend all your time catching the horse." I said, No. You didn't hear what I said. I said I spent 45 minutes teaching the horse how to be caught. I did not spend 45 minutes catching the horse. If I simply wanted to catch the horse, I probably could have done that in about 5 minutes. Well, the following day I showed up, and they had been out ahead of me and had just let their horse out. And I was going to have to go get it again, and it's like, oh, okay. How long did it take you to catch your horse today? Oh, about 30 seconds. That was the difference. I says, now do you understand what I was doing yesterday? Well, unfortunately, I still don't think they got it. Well, I'm quite sure they didn't. But there's my point. Doesn't matter what you want to do with your horse. First thing you got to do is catch it. Well, then once you catch it, you got to take it where you're going to work with it, or where you're going to tack it up, or groom it, or have it trimmed, or whatever. Well, that means you got to lead the horse. That's your next step. How well does your horse lead? I know it sounds like pretty basic stuff. It's only step 2. What do I need that for? Well, I can assure you I've seen an awful lot of horses that do not lead very well, and it's actually downright dangerous to be handling them on lead because of the fact the horse is so unpredictable, and when you got it that close to you, it can very easily and quickly run you over and get you hurt. So There's another one. Having a horse that is really maneuverable, and I've had a couple of horses over the years that were had been trained to ride, and beginners could ride them, but they couldn't do any groundwork at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, that's all the stuff that I like to emphasize and work on is, I want a horse that's maneuverable, that you can move it around any direction you want, any way you want, that nothing phases it. All this stuff, there might be 30 steps, before you ever put a saddle on the horse, the way I do things. But by the time we do put a saddle on, we've only got 5 steps left, whereas the guy that gets in a hurry to put the saddle on after 5 steps, he's still got 30 steps left. See how that works? Take your time, do things in order. There's a logical and sensible progression to things, and it's part of the mentality of a horsemanship. Is you just think about what makes sense to do things a certain way, because I can't tell you exactly what the order is, because I don't have it written down. I just kind of do it, and occasionally, like with the case of this horse I'm working with right now, there's a few little things that I change up just a tiny bit one way or the other because of her problems and the nature of that horse. I might not do it exactly in order. So it's probably best I don't have it written down, because if I wrote it down and shared that list with somebody, they'd probably go, okay, you're not doing it right. You wrote the list, but you're not doing it right. Yeah, I don't want that happening, so I'm not going to write it down. But I'm just going to tell you, use your head, use some common sense, and do things in an order that makes sense. If that horse cannot handle you throwing a tarp over its back, what's going to happen if you try taking your coat off on a hot day when you're on its back? Not good. Well, these are all the things that you do. That's that example there. That's kind of part of desensitizing, and desensitizing isn't so much about desensitizing. It is finding out what the heck you're getting yourself into. It's kind of like not long ago when I did a video saying that horses are not unpredictable. They're 100% predictable if you know what to expect from them. And that's part of what desensitizing does, is it teaches you what to expect specifically from your horse and different situations that may arise. Maybe they won't. And depending on how you do your desensitizing, you can also teach the horse how to cope with those situations so that it doesn't have a meltdown when you take your coat off on a hot day. So again, those are just those things, one step at a time, everything in order. And sometimes people do things terribly out of order. I'll give you another example, because it's come up in conversation recently, is tying. Is one of those things people think it comes way early. Nope, that comes quite a ways down the road, because the way I do it is I teach the horse everything it knows to be tied. I don't teach the horse to tie. Some people like to tie it to a rather stout post, usually referred to as a patience post or something like that, and let them struggle it out until they decide they don't need to be doing that anymore. Well, occasionally that works, but that's kind of a silly and barbaric bit of a way of doing it. Also kind of dangerous, and you may end up breaking a halter or lead or clips or all kinds of things, and I've seen all that stuff happen. Those patience posts aren't a good idea, and then if the horse does get free because it pulled, then it has learned that if it freaks out and pulls, well, it gets free. And you may always have a problem tying your horse after that. So take things in order, and like I said, people do it backwards sometimes and don't realize it. In the case of that, teaching a horse to tie, well, you don't do that. You teach a horse everything it needs to know to be tied, which most people do after they tie the horse. I don't do it that way. I do it the other way around, and to me, that makes sense. And, you think it through, and if you think about it, I think you'll come to the same conclusion I have. So, another example of the order to do things in. Like I say, I haven't got it written down, but I'm sure if you use your head and think about it a bit, you'll figure it out. So, anyhow, enough on that rant. Is doing things in order, and I hope you don't mind that boring wall behind me. It's not as attractive as a bunch of horses. Maybe next week it'll be a little warmer when I do a video, but right now we're just not going to be taking the equipment out and setting it up with bare hands when it's 30 below. That's just no idea of fun. Well, at least I don't think so. I got enough frostbite just working with the horses. I didn't need to spend that extra time doing videos. I'm going to sit in here where it's nice and toasty warm, and I got my nice hot cup of coffee and enjoy it. And well, I hope you're enjoying it too, sitting somewhere warm right now and watching this. And, well, a few of you are even here with me. That's nice. Oh, by the way, I'll make you a coffee in a minute as soon as I'm done here. And well, whatever you want in it, we got it. No problem. So you all have a good day now. Go play with your horses. Bye now.